Folks, this is Waylon Lewis, and without further ado, we're all saying where in the world we're from. I'll read 1 minute of those just so we get that sense of international community. I am fresh out of the shower because perhaps like some of you, raise your hand and say H-A-I, height. If you have been wearing what you might have slept in or pajamas or something maybe not fit for 4,472 of us to see. Anyone? Height? Until a few minutes ago, I was wearing a cashmere secondhand sweater that I sleep in that has more moth holes than people I have seen in the last 3 weeks. Okay, let's all take a great posture. We've been doing this for a million years, but I feel like it just got hip. We begin with a bow, not a handshake. We begin with a bow of mutual respect. This may be the future for our society. Let's take a good posture. Take your best posture of the day, your Black Panther, Wonder Woman, Superman posture. Take your best posture, hands just flat on your thighs. Find your breath, your eyes are open. Then relax that posture. Are we all doing this together? Let's all do this together. This is how we begin. And with respect and friendliness to everyone all over the world, in Argentina, in New Jersey, it's not many events that bring together Mina from New Jersey and Mercedes from Argentina and Carla from South Africa. Let's give it away. So actually, that's sort of the theme of today. Canada, Minneapolis. The theme of today is giving it away. Hola from Mexico, Levy. So thank you all for joining. Oslo. It's really magical. California, Bahamas in the house. We're all in the house. Colombia, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, crazy place. Ecuador, hello. Portugal, Scotland. That's how you pronounce it. Idaho, California, San Antonio. Okay. So I decided to be in a different situation. Let's rate my background very quickly without wasting too much time. Asheville, I love Asheville. Baltimore, I've only been to Asheville once or twice. Olympia, Bellingham, New York, Chicago. Let's rate my background on a scale of 1 to 10. I was inspired by Jimmy Fallon, who has this like slide in his house. This is my book nook, and this kind of fence is made out of an old antique bed. And it's got like a theater kind of curtain here. I have a huge antique US flag. You can see the shadows of the stars right there. And I got that below the bridge in the Brooklyn Flea Market in New York. And yeah, so I figured I'd mix it up. So today is about you guys. The first 2 meetings were meditation and then writing exercises to get through isolation, anxiety, fear. What's the one magic word we keep talking about? The one magic word. It's not really a word, it's a thing. And we're doing it right now. Here's a riddle for you. What's the one magic thing that can get all of us through this? And I'm kind of saying it in the question itself. Anyone? It's not magic in that it's real, but it is magic community. There you go. So community is equally powerful for introverts and extroverts. Community, when it's genuine and helpful, connection, exactly, Leslie, is kindness. So let's do some of that today. So I have a bunch of your questions. We'll begin with that. And the most important thing I want to say is twofold. Today is not about me, obviously, it's about you, but it's not even about you, it's about community and about connection. I said that in the first one, right? But I have a little update to that. It's not even about community and connection, it's about Laura. Am I right? Laura Murphy. So Molly Murphy runs Elephant Academy, which is what we've made free here for everybody. Her mother apparently is attending today, and Molly said, please don't embarrass me. So instead, let's try to embarrass Laura. And if everyone here would say, hi, Laura, or love to Laura, or Laura, you have a wonderful daughter, or something about Laura. Just really try to be sweet and try to embarrass her slightly. That would be great. So let's invest 5 or 10 seconds in trying to embarrass and cheering up Laura and Molly. Hey, Laura, here come the comments. They're a little delayed. So everyone just big group hug on Laura, but we're wearing our masks and we're at least 6 feet back. All right. So now that we have unleashed the power of love upon Laura Murphy, the mom of Molly Murphy, who runs Elephant Academy. I will say, Elephant Academy, we have slashed the prices. I'm not trying to be a used car or furniture salesman on local TV. We have to charge something for the full thing because I pay Molly. Laura, you'll be glad to know I pay Molly and I pay Emily and I pay the staff of Elephant Academy. But if you do want to go deeper into the lessons of truth or journalism or meditation or writing your voice, sharing your voice, you can join Elephant Academy, and that's the full rigmarole. But what we're doing for the quarantine is making the sort of weekly lectures and discussions free. So I want to start with your questions, which I haven't got to. So if you want to ask a question, you can click ask a question, and then you can upvote or downvote if you're mean. You can upvote the top questions you'd like. So let's start right now. My computer is on top of a bunch of children's play blocks and other things, books. Okay. So one question we're going to start with a question that only got 1 vote because some of you are very picky. She said, Alexander Petrov said, I would like to know if it is a good time with everything happening in the world right now to address our own personal issues or not, and what should we do from all perspectives, physical and psychological. Does anyone have a feeling on that one? So this morning I was reading, on my shrine, I have Lou Gehrig and Elvis, but above that, I have Pema Chodron. So I was reading Pema and she was saying, I don't even know if I bookmarked it, but basically she was saying, we have to start with ourselves. The title of the book, Start Where You Are. We have to start with ourselves, with compassion. We have to make friends with ourselves. Starting with ourselves is not selfish. Trying to accumulate, trying to steal from others, greed is selfish, right? But starting with the parts of ourselves that we don't like, making friends with ourselves, this may sound trite, but we don't do it, right? We don't do it. We try to be better. So a lot of self-help is, from a Buddhist point of view, is aggression. Let's listen a little bit. Let's bring the energy in and have a good hour together, 15 minutes. So a lot of self-help is subtle aggression, right? I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to be slightly hotter or better or kinder. Let's all bring it together, folks. So instead of self-help, instead of trying to be better, what if we just made friends with folks? Let's bring it in a little bit. We can afford to relax right now. So there will be times in this discussion for tons of comments and discussion, and there will be times just to relax. This is one time when you guys can relax. I'm going to read from one of my favorite articles ever. Maybe Emily, can you put in the comments right now? It's titled, Busyness is Laziness. That was a title I wrote, but the article is not by me. And maybe I'll just read 1 second of that for y'all. Does that sound good? If you want 1 second of busyness is laziness, say height, H-A-I, which is a nice affirmative. It's our tradition in Elephant Academy and Shambhala Sun Summer Camp, which I grew up with. Let's go easy on the all caps. Anyone want to hear that article? Height? Okay. So this is an article that is perfect for quarantine. Is everyone in quarantine? Is everyone distancing? Busyness is laziness. Life, this is by Dr. Reggie Ray. It's in the sidebar if you wanna read it, the whole thing. I'll just read a couple paragraphs. Life emerges out of the silence of our inner being. The life that we have in our mind, the life that is a reflection of our planning, the life that has been constructed out of bits and pieces, let's just listen, in our environment, external conditioning, things we have observed in other people, things that influential people have told us. He wrote this before Instagram influencers, is actually not who we are. That pre-planned life is rigid, is artificial, is unresponsive. It doesn't reflect the life that we were born to live. As the student of mind observed, obstacles, which are always with us, are not really obstacles. Think about your obstacles right now. As a student of mind observed, obstacles, which are always with us, are not really obstacles when you work with them in the right way. And we have to work with them. Many people tell me I'm having a lot of problems during this meditation practice because I am so busy. I'm really busy. I have a full life, is busy, and I run from morning till night, end quote. People actually say that. Now think about that for a minute. What kind of life is that? Is that a life worth living? Some people feel it is. America is probably the most extreme example of a speed-driven culture. And this is not my particular personal discovery, but something that has been said to me by many people from other traditional cultures. The first time this was said to me was when I was 19 and I went to Japan. Western people are running from themselves, and they use the busyness of their lives as an excuse to avoid having to actually live their own life. We use the busyness of our lives as an excuse to avoid having to actually live our own life. We are terrified of who we actually are, terrified of the inner space that is the basis of the human experience. So to come back to that question from Alexandra, we discover empathy, the inspiration for love. We've talked about how love is true love active or is true love passive? Is true love thoughts and prayers, or is true love actually helping and caring, empathy? What's true love? Is true love inert? Is love a Hallmark card, or is it messy activism, caring, empathy, action? If it is action, where does that true love come? Griselda, you could say both, but love, as Martin Luther King Jr. talked about it, remember he wrote that essay about the moderate liberal being more of an obstacle to progress for African Americans than the racist. A lot of us say thoughts and prayers whenever there's a school shooting, right? Thoughts and prayers are nice. But thoughts and prayers, while they may help our consciousness and they may express some caring, have not changed. In fact, school shootings have become more common. So love is a verb. Exactly, Tanya. Hey, it's my auntie, Liz. So where does that bravery, so my auntie, Liz, she and I both love Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was miserable. She was told she was ugly. She had an awful childhood. And then one day when she was, I don't remember how old, but maybe 18, Lisa, I agree with you. Let me get to that in 1 second. So Eleanor Roosevelt discovered that soup kitchens, right, that caring for people actually made her feel joyful. She didn't feel ugly. Let's bring it back again. Yeah, so we talked about agape again in that, I think, the first retreat that we did 2 Fridays ago. We talked about agape. I think it was 2 Fridays ago. So agape is that kind of the fourth kind of love, that ultimate love. So if you want to see that video, that's in the first Friday. Can we put that link in there, Emily? Did we blog that with the video, or Molly? So where does that bravery, that willingness to get messy, as Lisa says, a lot of political driven activism becomes hate driven. Where is that bravery and willingness to mix it up to, can we put in that Theodore Roosevelt quote? I think it's on Elephant Journal. The man in the arena, the woman in the arena, willingness to get into the mud. Does everyone know that quote? Where does that bravery come from? It comes from making friends with yourself. So Emily, Molly, can you put Maitri, the link to Maitri, in the sidebar? So it comes from Maitri. Making friends with yourself isn't something cute and cuddly, right? I mean, it is. It's very sweet. but it's actually super brave. It's muddy. We have that Theodore Roosevelt quote. Let's put that in the, ideally as an elephant link. But it's the willingness of someone to actually get involved, to actually care. Okay, so there's Maitri. We'll put that Theodore Roosevelt in there. I'm turning my notifications off. I suggest all of us do the same. So I want to read one more question, and then I'll discuss. So yeah, Lisa made the point that politically driven activism can become hate-fueled. Social activism can become hate-fueled. I completely agree. In Buddhism, we say aggression creates further aggression. Yeah, exactly. Melanie knows the quote, daring greatly. Social activism, political activism can become more hate-driven. We're seeing a lot of hate from Trump fans. We're seeing a lot of hate from Bernie fans. There's some on the front page of Reddit right now. Hate comes from all sides, and that's not to say equally. This isn't some silly, like everything's the same. Emily, there's the quote. Let's put that quote in Maitri. It is not the critic who counts. Critics do count, actually. But it is the man or the woman who is willing to, is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. So Winston Churchill also said, you know, success was the willingness to go from failure to failure to failure. Does that make sense? Are people enjoying this, or are we too speedy to kind of feel speedy today? So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is the quarantine is a chance to slow down. But how many of us here are still feeling that inner speediness, that busyness, that need for entertainment constantly? How many of us are filling the space with binging on Netflix, with eating while standing up, with not going outside and going for a walk? We can be speedy for the rest of our lives. If the video gets stuck, that's either your Wi-Fi or it's because so many people are on. All you can do is wait or refresh. Speedy can be okay. Speedy can be okay. Stress can be okay. Fear can be okay. I completely agree with Tess. But not if we're drowning in it. Fear is actually okay. We've talked about that. Stress is okay. This isn't my theory. This is just life, is Buddhism. You know, fear is something we all go through, but we can't get stuck in it. Fear, as FDR said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We can't be stuck in fear. We can't be stuck in stress. We can't be stuck in speediness. Do we kind of agree with that? Even slowness, to someone's point about speed being okay, slowness can be an obstacle. In Buddhism, there's slowness, there's speediness, there's kind of hungry ghostiness. There's all kinds of obstacles. What we're actually wanting to come back to, if we're speedy, is the present moment. We're not trying to be like sloths, although they're kind of cute. We don't need to be sloths. We can be Waylons. We can be Rachels. We can be Hanalys. We can be Lisas. We can be Hunter. Everyone say hi to Hunter. 3rd grade. What are children here? Because if children are here, I'm going to watch my language. I am in the book nook, so I should be cool anyway. Let's say hi to Hunter, people. So this is not for adults. This is not for weirdo hippies. This is not for weirdo Buddhists. This is quarantine retreat community 101, right? Everyone do a little sloth, but it's way slower. Who's been to Costa Rica and actually seen a sloth? It's way slower than that. So that's a way to just practice being slow. Try to be a sloth. Try to reach for your coffee. Trungpa Rinpoche, the Buddhist teacher, said, you can tell how mindful someone is. Does anyone want this quote from Trungpa Rinpoche? Bring it in. Okay. Trungpa Rinpoche quote, Buddhist quote. So he said, you can see how mindful someone is in the transitions. So when he came to our elementary school, He would kind of sit around, kind of bored during the class. Second, the class would end and all of us students would run from one class to the next. He would sit bolt upright and he would observe, because he said, and then the teachers had a conference with him and they said, why are you so interested in the transitions and so not interested in the classes? He said, it's in the transitions that you can see where the children's minds are at. So when we were taught to teach Buddhism, I grew up in the Buddhist community, when we were taught how to teach, we were taught to reach for our glasses, like a glass of water or a coffee, as if we were sloths, mindfully. And observe each movement, including putting it down fully before we needed to talk. How many great teachers do you see? They're charming, they're charismatic, they're great, but yeah, so anyway, but they show this moment of speediness, how they're uncomfortable with space. This quarantine is challenging all of us to get comfortable with space. Space is the final frontier. I just made that up. Space is a lot of life. We have this room, right? But you can't see this room except for the space here. Who here ever appreciates space? Does anyone know Ikebana? Flower arranging, Japanese tradition, Ikebana. It's exactly what we did in the bow. You're connecting heaven, which is the branches in the arrangement, earth, which is the base of the arrangement, the kind of earthy leaves and moss and things. Anyone know Ikebana here? We have an article on Ikebana. Hey, come here. This is my doggy. He didn't want to come in. It's too crowded. Can we put that article on Ikebana in the sidebar? Emily, Ikebana on elephantjournal.com. So what is most important in Ikebana in Japanese flower arranging? Anyone? I know I gave it away, but what's most important? Is the branches, is the flowers, is that article is from 2008. I wrote that 12 years ago. I think we have a different article, but good enough. Space. Space is delightful. I wrote about that in Things I Would Like to Do with You. Emily, I'm sorry I'm torturing you. Can you find that quote about space and love? In space we can play, from Things I Would Like to Do with You. Just put that in the sidebar. You can open up these links later if you're so inspired. But the second we hang up the call, they're all gone. So you got to open them up now or if you want to. So, PDA, where a lot of us are horrified by PDA, right? Making out in public, like in malls, in 1980s malls, like in Stranger Things. It's because there's some lack of space there. There's some lack of perspective. There's some kind of attachment, first love in a kind of goopy way. So having a little bit of space when you dance, when you play, it's sexy, it's fun. It's if you can mix love, which is kind of like fire and space, and have a spacious love instead of a kind of clingy, you complete me love, you complete me. Like in whatever that movie is. That's ultimate. So we put that link about love is selfish in the sidebar a couple sessions ago. Let's do that one more time. There's Redford. It's kind of magical. Who here has a dog? They follow you to every single room and they just want to keep their eye on you. And if there's 2 or 3 of you, they magically do a math trigonometry equation to lay down exactly between where both of you are, so they can kind of keep their eye or ear on you. It's very cute. There's my dog. Can you see him? All right. So let's get back to questions. Where's the questions? So here's a great one. This is from Morgan. This is all from you guys. So if you have questions, put them in Ask a Question and vote. I often have the most profound thoughts and words flow through my mind. This might have been from the writing session. Let's listen again. We ready to listen? Let's listen to Morgan's question. Good? I often have the most profound thoughts and words flow through my mind just as I'm trying to get to sleep. I'm too tired to get up and write them down, but even though when I wake up and remember the idea the next day, the words that articulate and encompass it clearly are gone. What is your advice to being able to channel that, not at 2 a.m., and then various emojis? So this might have been from our writing session. So what we're doing here, just so you know, we are doing these free gatherings every Friday. And if you want to go deeper, you can join Elephant Academy. We've made it 60% off. We're never ever going to offer it for that much off again, but we wanted to do it for the quarantine. And we wanted to make the actual connection, which all of us are missing maybe, although all of us have 8,000 Zoom calls a day now. We wanted to make this free. So the first time we did meditation, second time we did writing. What are we doing today? Anyone have the word for that? I started off with that word. What are we doing today? What's the focus of today? We're 28 minutes in, Waylon. Hey, Shannon in Florida. Anyone got a word for what we're doing today? Yeah, we're doing connection. We're doing community. We're doing questions. So today is question day. All right, so the question. So Trungpa Rinpoche actually answered this. He's this Buddhist teacher guy. He wrote this wonderful book, Training the Mind, which I have here. So he said, a great part of your path as a writer, who here considers yourself a writer? Anyone? It's sort of a trick question because most of you probably don't consider yourselves writers, but all of us are writers. All of us are writers. If you have a voice, you can be a writer. You don't have to be an English major. You don't have to be able to spell articulate backward, but you're a writer. You have a voice. What's the importance right now, particularly when we're in this worldwide freak out, painful, terrifying, uncertain, fun, cozy slowdown? What's important right now in terms of writing, in terms of finding your voice? Why does finding your voice matter? Why does finding your voice matter to this world, to this quarantine, to what we're going through, to getting a job, to unemployment, to being able to deal with your spouse and your screaming kids? Why does finding your voice matter? Being present, processing feelings. That's kind of what I'm going for, Michelle. There's an ability to be helpful to others, empathy, to have catharsis. Everyone know what catharsis means? Catharsis means I'm confused, I'm in pain, I'm struggling, I'm out of work, or I can't deal with my husband, my wife, and my kids, or whatever. And it can be positive stuff too. And then you can actually, just like being aware of fear and not being caught in the fear, being aware of stress and not being caught in the stress, being aware of anxiety and not being caught in anxiety. This doesn't feel that good. Everyone hunch up. We do this in yoga sometimes. Everyone hunch up and get really tense and make a mean expression that isn't good for your face wrinkles. Let's all do that, especially Hunter. Is Hunter still here? Be like, what's his name? Lord of the Rings guy. Hobbit. Gollum. Be like Gollum. Everyone get like a little T-Rex. You're a little baby T-Rex. I'm trying to make a fool of myself. So at the very worst, this is silly. How does that feel? Is everyone doing this? Is everyone doing this? Right? Is anyone doing this? Say hi. My precious. You're greedy, hungry, ghosty. And now relax. Sit up. Open up your heart. Whew. It's a relief. It's a relief. Oh, you're like a mama pig suddenly let out of the factory farm. Vegan analogies. Hashtag vegan analogies. Take a good breath. Let's undo that. Stretch out. So that's the difference between being caught in fear, being caught in stress, being caught in anxiety, and you start drowning. That's not good for any of us. It's not good for our immune systems. Emily, can we put that immune system article in the sidebar? You know, all the good things that are good for your immune system sidebar. Don't worry, it's not like a goopy article. It's pretty fact-based and grounded. So drowning isn't so good. So let's relax and let's not deny. Positivity is a different problem. Why can positivity be problematic? Emily, I have maybe the Positivity Manifesto. Can we put that in the sidebar? Emily, where's the links? Everyone say, hurry up, Emily. No pressure, Emily. Emily's over there Icosa-ing or DuckDuckGoing frantically because we don't Google. Why do we not Google? Don't Google. Don't Amazon. Yeah, Emily, take your time. Everyone's so nice here. Love you, Emily. No worries, Emily. There's a Positivity Manifesto. Ease up on your admin, exactly. So positivity, you're suppressing the negative. So you want to, you actually, why would you suppress the negative? The negative is your friend, Maitri. Read that Maitri link, remember? If you're not afraid of fear, then you're fearless. But you don't get fearless by suppressing fear, by suppressing things. Suppressing isn't good, right? You can even make friends with suppressing. So suppressing is good. Everything's good. But you don't need to do positivity it up. You can be positive. That's good. Yeah, you want to let it breathe. You don't want to smush. So I've written a lot about Google. Google is helping crush what little is left of journalism and truth. And in this day and age, I won't try to get too political this time, but who here is a fan of we need truth, we need journalism, we need quality media, not crappy clickbaity media? Yes, justice. Positivity is actually self-aggression. Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. Okay, good talk. All right, next question. Oh, so I never even got to the story. So Trungpa Rinpoche said, he was asked by William Burroughs. Anyone here know William Burroughs? He was a Beat Generation writer. William Burroughs said, if I'm going to go on a meditation retreat, I'm going to take my journal so that I can write down all my brilliant thoughts. What did Trungpa Rinpoche say to him? Anyone? Anyone have an idea? So remember the question? I know I read it so long ago, but I often have the most profound thoughts and words flow through my mind just as I'm trying to get to sleep around 2 a.m. How do I channel those or keep those? Right? Yeah, naked lunch. There you go. So junkie, exactly. So Trungpa Rinpoche said to William Burroughs what Mary Ellen just said. No journal. Let go. What's that quote? Let go or be dragged? Yes. Emily, I have an article with Pablo Neruda, beautiful, beautiful poem about letting go. And I wrote about letting go. I said, sometimes letting go hurts. Sometimes letting go sucks. Sometimes, yeah, that's the title of the article. Letting go sucks. So letting go isn't this beautiful thing that you do in the middle of Whole Foods, which is Amazon. Don't support it. Support local now more than ever, because local is pretty much going out of business everywhere. Amazon is reaping the rewards. No. Don't use the voice memo. Don't write it down. Margot, that's a practical good advice. But the ultimate good advice here is to be willing to let go. And as my mom said when I was a little kid and I wanted her to buy me things and she was super broke, she would say, if it's truly important to you, you'll remember it and you'll mention it to me in a week. And then maybe we'll look at getting it. So instead of like being attached to your thoughts as if they're brilliant possessions, who here is attached to your thoughts? And then you write them down and then you read them a week later and you sound like a teenager who's high on yourself, right? Our brilliant thoughts are not that brilliant. We can afford to let go, and truth, like a rubber ducky, will come back to the surface. Truth, like a rubber ducky, will go, Blow. We're not going to lose it. We might lose it, but that's okay. Let go. Letting go sucks. Did we get that article? People might enjoy that one. Oh, yeah, Emily did it long ago. There it is. So I'll just read one sentence or two sentences of that. Letting go sucks. Letting go isn't pretty. Pablo Neruda, a poet for sad, bad mornings, plus Chogyam Trungpa and Tonglen, which we did the first gathering. Sometimes letting go sucks. Sometimes letting go isn't pretty. You won't find letting go on Pinterest or Instagram. You will find it in your red, raw, tumultuous, rivetingly beautiful heart. Letting go isn't sad. Sometimes it's bad. Letting go isn't about birds and cages and things coming back if they truly love you. Letting go is about heartburn, claustrophobia, heartache, angst, growling. Letting go is about needing happy music. Old 1950s, how do you like your eggs in the morning with Dino, or green sleeves in the morning? Because you're so sad and bitter. You can't breathe oxygen. You haven't breathed in days. Letting go is about the anger right before you open up and hug a friend and get their shoulder wet and salty. It reminds me of this poem. I used to love Neruda back in college. Anyway, that's the rest of it. Letting go is tough stuff. That's the point. Okay, let's read some more questions. When writing, how do you deal with thoughts like, my story isn't interesting enough and no one wants to read this, etc.? Céline. So that is the beginning of writer's block, is judging your own writing as you're writing it. In the academy, we teach the opposite, which is self-editing, which is live editing, which is shaping the sound of what you're writing, like jazz, as you're blowing it. You know, you blow the trombone. Everyone ever read Kerouac? You blow the sound. Everyone ever sing in your shower? When you're singing in the shower, we should all sing something together. This needs to be more interactive. What should we sing together? Which is something we all know. Let's get to the questions. So when you feel like you have these thoughts that your story isn't good enough, that's okay. On the one hand, that's a moment for Maitri, right? We put that link in the sidebar. That's a moment to say, it's okay if my writing isn't okay. You don't need to judge the judgment either. You know, we all get into this war. You're judging your bad writing, bad. You're judging the judger. Stop judging me. We all do that when we fight with anyone here have weight issues, eating issues, addiction issues? We'll fight what we want, which is that popcorn late at night, the ice cream. Then we'll fight the person saying, the voice saying, don't eat it. We fight with ourselves. So that's Maitri can actually salve. Maitri can solve. Meditation can salve and solve. It can heal. It can relax. So that also comes back to Reggie Ray's article that we talked about before. So writer's block is usually just a whole big ball of emotional judgment on yourself. And to relax writing block, you actually listen to that ball. Let's slow down for 1 second. I'm going to get to those questions. I have a list of other questions, but I'm going to get to those questions too. We got 10 minutes. We got plenty of time, 14 minutes. So let's just listen. Can we listen to this right now? So that ball of judgment, that ball of guilt tripping, that ball of fighting against yourself, you relax your writer's block by listening to yourself, by saying, maybe the writing isn't that good. Maybe I need to relax and just write in a fresh, open way. Every writer ever who finds their voice describes it as what? Describes it as the same thing, describes it as flow, describes it as almost, it's not even your voice. You're just opening up and it's like God or the universe just flows. Instead of it being like your brilliant ideas that you have to write down. That comes back to letting go. So, great question. There's so many questions here. I'm going to jump into ask a question. So by Andrea, top voted, all of my negative qualities are surfacing more than ever. Staying focused seems to be an issue as well. And I drive myself and my surrounding people perhaps crazy by constantly being unsure, insecure, and timid. I am in better contact with people online than my own family under this roof. What's going on? Suggestions. P.S. I want to help and be reliable. This should not be about me. So there's so much there, Andrea, but Maitri is really the answer for you. Read that Maitri article. It is okay to be insecure. It's painful to be insecure. Can we all say that? It is okay to be insecure. It is painful to be insecure. It is okay to be insecure. It is okay to be irritating. It is okay to be insecure. It is painful to be irritating. You got to make friends with that irritating, okay, insecure thing within you. You got to make friends with it. How do you do that? Through meditation, through Maitri. Emily, can we put the meditation instruction, Datan meditation instruction in the sidebar? We're all irritating. All of us. Who here is irritating? Anyone here irritating? Anyone here insecure? Is anyone? I'm raising both my hands. I'm going to raise my feet. All of us are insecure. Sorry, you're seeing the bottom of my feet. That's disgusting. Who here is disgusting? Who here took a shower this morning and still somehow has dirty feet? Maybe because I've been walking around barefoot. It's okay. You are not alone, Andrea. Realize that you're not alone. Everyone here, 4,511 people, I'm going to just guess, take a wild guess. I'm going to guess that every single one of us, other than Laura Murphy, is insecure, irritating, and that's okay, timid. So on some level, you know, the quote is, Andrea, if you want to be happy, think first of others. So you don't have to wait to make friends with yourself to help others. You just take a leap. Fake it till you make it. If you want to be unhappy, think only of yourself. If you want to be happy, think first of others. You also think about yourself and being happy. This isn't some weird self-denial. But you think first of others. Hey, Redford, are you wet? Are you cold? Are you hungry? How are you doing, Margot, Mariana? Margot's the top commenter of the day. Levy, Liz. All of us irritate ourselves. All right. How'd we do there? Hi, everyone. I miss hugs most of all. Being able to hug and receive them. I'm a hugger. The virtual stuff just doesn't do it for me. Any thoughts or suggestions on how to work through the sadness of no more hugging, at least for now? Miss K. It's like you're a super heroine because you're undercover. You're Miss K. You're not giving us your name. You're the secret super hugger. So number one, who here loves hugs? Hugs are great. Hugs are good for your endorphins, which when I was a kid, I thought was dolphins. Hugs are good for your dolphins, right? Who loves to hug dolphins? Anyone love to hug dolphins? Hugs are great. We miss hugs. We can't hug. But Tess has got it. You can hug yourself. You can hug your dog. You can hug your cat. Don't hug a tiger or a lion because they got coronavirus. Anyone read about that? So, Miss K, a hug is not a physical thing. A hug is a physical thing, but it's also not a physical thing. What happens that you really love when you hug that isn't physical? What happens when you hug? I dolphin you too. You can still do that. You can still share love and kindness. Hugs are good, but you know what's even better? Kindness for people who aren't huggable. people who need kindness. I read all these stories of kindness in the New York Times, people shopping for elderly folks, people helping one another out. That is hug. That is connection. A hug isn't about dopamine. It's not. Dopamine is a side effect, benefit. This class is a hug for me, as Tess says. A hug isn't about me getting endorphins or endorphins. A hug isn't about me getting dopamine. A hug is about kindness. So be kind. And that is the ultimate hug. What's the ultimate hug? Is kindness, is presence, it's attention, it's caring. And that also solves the first question, which was, how do I stop being so irritating and insecure? You be kind. You be kind. It takes bravery and vulnerability to be kind. What does it take to be kind? It takes bravery because you feel insecure and you feel naked when you're kind, and it feels vulnerable. So it takes bravery to be vulnerable and to be kind. From Laura, VIP of the day is Laura. Since I'm working from home with 2 other family members, I realize that my alone time is at a premium. In a world where it seems like everyone is lonely, I don't want to seem aloof or uncaring. What might be good ways to make space for myself? And does anyone else feel this way? I think, Laura, you have permission to be alone. Some of us don't have physical space to be alone, but if you can just shut yourself into your bathroom, take a bath, close your bedroom door. Some of us, don't have a bunch of separate rooms, but alone time is vital. I love alone time. I'm alone in my home with Redford. I had a friend who was here for the first week, but when she left to Denver, I didn't let her come back because it's not really safe. So alone time, that's such a great question, because we think of coronavirus and we think of all this as you're separate from society, but a lot of us are crowded in with our loved ones. And we need that alone time. Alone time is like drinking water to someone thirsty in the desert. Alone time is beautiful. So no shame in the alone game, right? Can we all say something like that? I think, Emily, we have that article, Loneliness as a Good Thing. So a lot of people say, okay, being alone is good, but lonely is bad. Lonely is evil. Lonely is stressful. Lonely is bad for your health. Lonely is bad. Scientists even say that. But from a Buddhist point of view, you embrace the thing that's bad. You embrace the fear. You embrace the stress. You embrace the loneliness. And that's what you heal. You don't heal the stuff that we say, oh, well, being alone is cool, but being lonely, that's bad. You process that, the stress, the loneliness. So there's the Buddhist view of loneliness as a good thing. Every single time I ever mention that article, someone says, oh, you mean aloneness? No, I mean the hard stuff. I mean the insecure stuff. I mean the irritating stuff. I mean the stressful stuff. I mean the fear that who here has felt afraid in bed, thinking about buying guns, thinking about hoarding toilet paper or food, because we don't know what's going on. This is an uncertain time. In uncertain times, we think we need groundedness. What we actually need is kindness. Sometimes when you're surfing, you don't have groundedness. That's why people love surfing. Are we listening still? I don't really care if we listen to me so much as if we're just kind of present with what's happening. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it together. So we only got a couple more minutes. Topic suggestion. Seeing this time as an opportunity from Rhiannon Royce to change habits we know we have been putting off that will make a positive impact economically, sharing companies that use eco-friendly products, stuff you can, okay, I love Rhiannon and I have an instant crush on her. I have a crush on anyone who's environmental, who talks about being, supporting local gardening habits, all right? Because a lot of people are saying, let's bring it in. We got 3 minutes left, 4 minutes. Rhiannon, I'm just asking you're delayed probably. So Emily, can you put that YouTube video I did with Brandolin yesterday in the sidebar? It's the first video in youtube.com/elephant journal. So support local. Try to boycott Amazon. Try to boycott Google. Try to use DuckDuckGo or Ecosia. Try to support local. Try to support zero waste. A lot of us are getting deliveries, but they're plastic. And the delivery drivers are being endangered too. So if you are getting delivery, over tip if you're able to. If you need help, reach out. I have a crush on you too, Margot. I have a crush on everyone. So, but seriously, like, people keep saying, "Oh, the canals of Venice are clean. The air in LA is clean. The air in China is clean." That kind of thing. The animals are coming back. That doesn't make me happy. That makes me angry. We know that if we stop polluting, there will be less pollution. That's like literally the easiest math equation ever. We know that if we don't fly to Bali for entertainment, that'll be good for the environment. So let's stop being selfish. This is a dress rehearsal for climate change, which is here. Climate change is here now. Part of solving climate change is tipping cash to small local companies. Support local communities. Support your food pantry. Help get unemployment resources for folks who can't pay their rent or their mortgage. In Germany, where they believe in a social safety net, people are getting $5,400 euro checks, not dollars, euros, right now, within 2 days of applying. In the US, we don't believe that people should get help, even if it's their own tax money. So we need to begin to care about our fellow man, our fellow woman, our fellow child, our fellow humans. Emily, did you get that YouTube link in there? So in there, we talk about all these eco things that folks can do. One of them is trying to be vegan. Oh yeah, there's the, what will we learn from this coronavirus quarantine? Anything Brandel and Tebow with Waylon Lewis. So again, it's not honestly about me. It's about how can we be thoughtful for our local companies? How can we stop doing plastic stuff? How can we bike, walk? How can we take the best of what quarantine is, which is slowing down a little bit, and continue that forever? And obviously, there's things we don't like about right now. Some of our dear friends are going through a lot of pain, right? Live simple. Thoreau. I brought a Thoreau blog. There's actually a great Thoreau quote in that Busyness is Laziness. So please, here's your homework. Read Busyness is Laziness. It's my favorite thing we've ever published. Read what I'm going to put in my sidebar. Read my favorite poem there. Read Maitri. Support local. Can someone make this list? Read Busyness is Laziness. Read my favorite poem. A lot of you will know it. Read Letting Go is tough stuff. You don't need to do it for Elephant. Just do it for yourself. And if you don't like it, you can move on. But try to support local. Try to skip Amazon. Try to skip Google. Try to support the mega billionaire corporations and support local. We're out of time. We'll do it one more Friday. And if we get to 5,000 folks next Friday, I think we'll probably continue. So did you enjoy today? If you did, are you willing to share this with one person? If you enjoyed it and you're willing to share it with one person, please say, thank you, Emily, and height, H-A-I. Let's take a great posture. And without further ado, give it away. And if you want to join the full academy, which includes mentors and more community and online lessons, you can join the green button. And we've made it 60% off. We're definitely never going to offer it for that little, but no need. Enjoy. This is going to be made free for at least one more week. If we get to 5,000 folks, we'll probably continue it. It's basically like I'll do this as long as it's fulfilling for you and me.